Hi, I'm Donna Shea, social emotional learning specialist and coach in Boxborough, Massachusetts, back with another in a series of tip videos for kids on social skills. I do social skills groups virtually and in person here in Massachusetts, and I'm just sharing quick tips today on something called social awareness. And what is social awareness exactly? It's the ability to pay attention to other people and to what is going on around you. Tip number two is a big part of social awareness for me when I'm working with kids is noticing that it's difficult to remember that you should greet people when you see them or say, excuse me, if you need to get by them. I see many times people walking or pushing past other people just to get to go do what they want to do or something that they're excited about. So it's really important to remember to stop for a second, say hi, or stop and say, excuse me, if you need to get by somebody. Tip number three is another thing that I see quite frequently is that if you notice that other people are cleaning up or getting ready to leave, or maybe the person or your coach or your teacher is saying it's time to clean up and get ready to go, it is time for you to do the same thing, no matter how much fun you're having or how much that you want to continue doing what you're doing. Because if you don't be aware of when it's time to stop and time to go, then you're actually inconveniencing other people, and that can be somewhat too stressful or annoying to them because their needs are not being met when they need to go and do something else, and you're sticking around and not leaving when it's time. Tip number four is remember to look up and around you. Social awareness is really about looking and looking around you and seeing what other people are doing in the environment that you're in and doing your very best to copy what's going on. So you want to do what I call social matching, which is matching the noise level or matching the energy level of where you are. So if you've been told that you have a little difficulty with modulating, all that means is you're having difficulty matching what everyone else is doing. So if you're in a library, you're going to be doing, people are going to be doing very different things than they might be out in a football stadium cheering for their favorite team. So you want to really look around and make sure that you are matching what's going on around you and what other people are doing. Tip number five, and you may have heard this before, is to be socially aware of personal space. So you don't want to be what I call a close talker, which is getting right into somebody's face when you're talking to them, or a squishy sitter, right? With this, you kind of don't leave any daylight between you and somebody that's near you, or an untamed toucher. And that's touching people without permission, whether you see something that you like with their hair, or, you just have a tendency to be a hugger without checking in first. It's really important that you maintain personal space and don't get into somebody else's personal space unless you have their permission. Tip number six is you should also learn to be aware of what other people's expressions and body language are saying. So 75% of communication, or 70%, is not with words, it's with our bodies and with our expressions. So again, the only way to practice that is to look at people and to practice and to know what they're saying to you when they're not using their words. Tip number seven is if someone looks or sound bored, like this guy here, they're not really talking, they're looking away, some people will roll their eyes, that means the conversation is over for them, or they want to talk about something else. Be aware of when someone is doing this and looking bored and you need to change the subject or ask them, something about what they're interested in. Tip number eight is what I call multitasking. And, multitasking can be good, like if you're trying to write a report, or if you're, somebody who works in an office and you need to do a couple things at once. But multitasking when you're socializing with your friends takes away from social awareness. So if you're doing another activity with a friend, when a friend or person is trying to be friendly with you, it makes them feel as if you care more about what you're doing than you do about them. So if I'm in a Zoom room and, I'm trying to, be friendly with kids, and someone's, busy playing a video game and the other one's looking at his Nintendo Switch, it makes me feel not so important in that social situation. And it feels kind of rude to the person that you're doing it to. Tip number 9 is to be aware of who people are and what is a real friend and what isn't. Okay, so it's important to know the difference between a stranger, not friends, you know, somebody that you just met in the mall or went past in the mall or maybe smiled at you and said hello. That's a stranger. Acquaintances, maybe somebody you see every once in a while. You know, you could think about maybe if you say hello to the mailman every day, they're acquaintance, or somebody you know in passing. They're not friends either. Classmates and teammates. These are people that might be in your class at school or on your soccer team that you just are either in school with or you play the game with, but you don't see them otherwise. They're not friends. Now, casual friends are what I call the sometimes friends. So maybe you meet a kid on the playground and you play together for the afternoon, or you meet a kid at summer camp and you play together once in a while. Or, you know, there's a kid in your class that, you know, come over for a play date now and then. That's a casual friend. So sometimes friends, you know, sometimes you're getting together. A good friend is a frequent friend. You know, that could be a person that you get together with a lot. You know, you have play dates frequently, or you hang out in school a lot or at recess, is a good friend. And then there's what we call the BFF, or the best friend. That's kind of your everyday, you talk to them constantly. They're like, you know, your BFF. And it's pretty easy to explain, and you want to spend a lot of time with them, and they're very important in your life. And so there are steps, if you can see this, in between strangers to best friends. So somebody that you just met, I want you to be socially aware that that's not your best friend. That's just someone that you've just met. And tip number 10 is an acronym it's called, that I came up with as a trick to how to remember doing social awareness. So it's always watch, adjust, and respond to the environment around you. And again, if you can watch, look, match, adjust, all right, that is going to take you a long way into social awareness. And people who are socially aware are easier to be around. You know, you're paying attention to what's going on around you. You're responding to what other people need and think. And it makes you a much better friend when you become socially aware. So if you like my tips, my friend Nadine and I have written a book with 500 of tips in there that are available on Amazon and very easy to find. And if your parent is interested in the work that I do here in Massachusetts virtually and in person, they're welcome to take a screenshot of the screen and get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to connect with them and answer any questions that they have. As always, thank you for spending time with me in the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.